come with me. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Hello and welcome to the Pens and Pixels Popcast, the It bonus review.
Yay!
There we go. If you don't know, we already reviewed it, Mike and I, but we wanted to get Geekseh, part of the extended Popcast family, on here to give us his take, because if you've listened to podcasts in the past, you know that he's a huge fan of the original It, the book and the miniseries, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both of them. He loves that adorable clown. So in this episode is going to be a little tighter than the original review. You can go check that out right now on our SoundCloud or iTunes. But we're just going to hop right into spoilers right away. So if you haven't seen the movie, check out now. Go see the movie. Come back and get Geekseh's take.
I feel like,
okay.
I feel like, have you ever seen the episode of Seinfeld when George is the summer friend of Jerry and then Jerry has like a winter friend, or vice versa?
Yes.
I feel like that with Mike. You're Jerry.
You guys have never met, but you have one shared person.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little like that, yeah.
It's sort of.
So Geekseh, run me down. What'd you think of it overall?
Overall, I did really like it. It was really good. You know, and I'll say I listened to the other podcasts you and Mike did, and you know, there's so much I could agree with, so much I didn't think about too. I was in my own head with it, but overall, it was a great movie, and you can see why it's making the biggest horror box office opening ever.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining flick, like just through and through. The kids really hold that movie together.
I think like it wasn't the main character wasn't who it should have been. The main character was that wolf kid. Finn
Wolfhard?
Yeah, he destroyed that movie.
Oh yeah, he was by far the standout.
It was so much funnier than we thought it was going to be, right? Like, he just made those jokes happen, like, boom,
It was funnier than some comedies I've seen lately.
Yeah, it was dry too, right? Like, somewhat dry almost.
Yeah, it was really good.
So okay, so here's what I wanted to get into. I stopped listening to it because I wanted to know your take. Let's start at the ending. What did you think of the ending?
Let's start at the ending. I liked, so you're talking about from just the time they go into the sewer, or just the final fight, or
the final fight. The
final fight.
What did you think of the final fight?
I liked it a lot. I think it's a more visceral than what happened in the miniseries with just the slingshot in the head or whatever, and the battery acid in the. It's not battery acid, but he says
no. He says it's battery, and it's isn't. Yeah.
I think it's a lot more visceral than that, and I kind of like the idea that they're just beating the shit out of this monster who's like a trans-dimensional being. I really like that. At the same time, I thought that fight was a little hard to follow just with the editing, because I mentioned this in the last podcast. It was so quickly cut. I didn't get to see a lot of it didn't linger on a lot of the things that I wanted it to, because you saw it with those two big mantis hands, or maybe spider feet, and stuff that came out of him, and he had made these the tentacles that came out of his mouth and stuff. I like the idea behind it. I don't think it was executed 100% the way I would have liked it, but I did really enjoy the visceral nature of it.
I just thought, you know what, in the book, you were touching on the slingshot, the inhaler. That's how it happened in the book, and I can see how it wouldn't have been as good on screen. I get that. I like how they showed the deadlights. You need to show the deadlights. I just didn't... go on.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, we touched on this in the podcast, too. Does he ever actually say deadlights in the movie? No, right?
No, it's...
No, yeah. You just have to... You're just like, oh, I guess there's 3 dots in his throat.
Maybe the kids say it? I'm not sure. I know he doesn't for sure, but...
No, I don't think any of them say the word deadlights.
I'm going to go see it again. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to go see it again. So I'm going to try to listen for that. But I didn't really like them beating up this being that's bigger than anything.
Well, you know what? I can totally understand that. The thing that I always wrestle with in my head about this now is that I always think of XMen and Marvel superheroes. They have these ratings, right, of how powerful they are, and usually beings that are cosmic and reality warping are omega level mutants, and they're super hard to beat. And the idea that this trans-dimensional demonic clown thing. Like, yeah, I got beaten up with some pipes in a sewer. Like, it is a little bit like, you shouldn't be able to do that. But it all hinges on the fact that, like, once they believed they could, and the fact that they weren't scared of it anymore, that's how they damaged him. Not necessarily the pipes, I guess, you know what I mean?
For sure. It was them not being scared anymore, knowing they could beat it up. But when he grabbed that baseball bat from the pile, I was like, give me a effing break. Come on. And that's why I like the slingshot idea, only because they had, like, they didn't touch on anything about the silver or anything like that, about, like, you know, he's weak to silver, they find out in the book. And I get...
So,
yeah, go on.
Sorry, I'm reading the book right now. I'm not super far in.
Okay.
I'm just, like, slowly whittling my way through that fucking 1,200-page book.
For sure.
Is he actually weak to silver? Because the way I interpreted it in the 1990s miniseries was the fact that, like, they thought werewolves were weak to silver, and they got the mom's earrings, and they were like, oh, this will work because it'll kill werewolves, and they believed it would, so it did. I thought it was kind of the same thing. So
that's how I think of it, right? I'm not sure because I read it about 6 months ago again, and I'm not 100% on the silver thing, but what I thought is because they believed the silver would hurt it, and that was what would have done it, that because they believe so much, it happened. Just like Pan, right? You believe, it happens.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, guys, is go watch Hook. Great movie, Robin Williams
at his finest.
But you know, speaking about the book, let's talk about the book compared to the movie. Obviously, you can't do things like the book. I think what I like about the book so much is all the backstory. You know,
totally.
You know, all the I'm sure you've already read about the gay bar, and
yes,
I don't know if you've gotten to the black spot yet. But
yes.
there's so many neat little stories about his past that they didn't...
And about Derry in general. You get a really, like, in the book, you get a huge sense of, like, the town itself being a little corrupt and the people there just being a little bit, like, turning a blind eye to things and all this shit. And, you don't get any of that in the movie. You don't really get much of... Aside from the fact that the only adults who speak in that movie are fucking creepy, you don't really get much of... Derry is a weird place to live in general.
The only adult that was not creepy in that was the librarian. Librarian's normal, you know. Everyone else kind of creepy, or at least depressed as shit, like the dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The dad's normal. He just yelled at his son after building this replica sewer.
Not like, holy shit, good job. You took all that hamster cage stuff and like made this. Good job. It's like, no, you stop this. This is the last time.
Yeah.
So
quit trying to solve this case.
So that's where my problem is, right? Because they didn't touch much on it this movie, and I heard through the grapevine, just, you know, I am a big fan, so I heard that one of the main producers was talking about how the next one's going to open, and they're talking about it opening on the black spot.
Yes.
And now
I heard that too.
It would make sense because, spoiler alert, you guys, for even the book, if you guys haven't read the book, and you already know this, but the dad of Mike doesn't witnesses the burnings, you know what I mean? And then they get burned, so it's kind of like, and Mike sees his dad burnt, so it's kind of like, you know, I get it. But in the book, the parents are still alive, right? Michael's parents are still alive.
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty positive they're still alive. I didn't understand why they were going with this, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Someone let me know. Someone tell me how much of an idiot I am, please. But
you can tweet at Geekseh.
Yeah, tweet at Geekseh with an extra H. So I was just kind of nervous because the next movie, I know it's going to be around the same thing, probably 2.5 hours. You know, let's say 2.5 hours.
I would imagine.
And I'm curious to see if they're not going to. Do you think they're going to do flashbacks with the kids?
I think just purely based off the success of this movie and how big these kids are, especially the Stranger Things kid, I think that they are definitely gonna get them back for some sort of flashbacks.
Yeah, like in the book, so they do. You get to meet all the characters, and then in each chapter, it's one about each character, one of the kids, and then a story about them pretty much seeing the clown or something messed up. And then in the second half of the book, I won't spoil it for you, but they all meet up back in Derry, you know, obviously, and they all kind of walk around and do their thing, and they all get kid flashbacks again.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if they're going to do like flashbacks again, or it's just going to be pure adults.
I have to imagine they're going to do more flashbacks because again, the kids are such a hit and they're like the glue to this movie. Unless they can, cast some adults that are just as charming as these kids and have a good chemistry together, like, which would be very hard to do.
Yeah, if you had to pick, okay, you saw the movie. If
Yep.
you had to pick one kid that was the weakest that you didn't like, who was it?
I think it was Mike.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Because he was there at the very beginning of the movie. Actually, no, or the Jewish kid. Either one of those two.
Stan?
Yeah, because like they had the least going on as characters. You saw Mike at the very beginning, and then he kind of comes in at the end, and I was like, oh right, yeah, there he is. And then the other kid, he just felt very inconsequential in general.
Yeah, Stan, I wasn't really into. And the weird thing is, Mike is such a big role in the second half that it'll be interesting because he didn't get much time on screen. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Is Stan the one who kills himself when he's an adult?
Yeah, Stan is the one that murders himself. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So one of my favorite parts in the whole movie, I don't know why, it was like a 5-second clip, was of Pennywise waving to Michael when they were having the rock fight, and he was all like dazed, and then he looked over and he saw Pennywise waving the baby hand at him.
Yeah, that was really good.
Dude,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was really good.
That was like, oh shit, like that was awesome.
Yeah, like you're already getting the shit kicked out of you, and you look up and there's a fucking clown eating somebody. Yeah,
and so, like, I'm not going to talk much about the movie, like, about parts. I am, but I don't want to go in order. I just kind of want to talk about it.
Totally.
Like, Pennywise, I didn't... Okay, I liked him.
I know you had a problem with the in the trailers. You weren't sure about the voice.
I wasn't
sure. I wasn't
you like
Tim Curry's gravelly voice. How did Bill Skarsgård perform for you?
Okay, so at the beginning again, the part, the first sewer part, I already saw that kind of little clip, so I was listening to it, and I was like, okay, it's good. I really like his presence. I just don't know if I like the voice. Then you see him with the balloons and stuff, but what really got me, the scene that really made me go, okay, I like him, was the first time they go into Niebolt House or whatever. The
crack den?
Yeah, the crack den.
Yeah.
The first time they go into the crack den and, Eddie breaks his arm and he comes out all, twisted and stuff. But, like, he talked a little more in there. And that's the moment I really bought him. That's the moment I was really, like, not bought him, but I just liked everything instead of just the mannerisms and the scary factor of him.
Mm. Yeah, I thought he pulled it off really well. I might have talked about this in the podcast, maybe not, I forget. But I thought that, I was thinking about you actually and having, before having a discrepancy with the voice and stuff. And I was thinking, like, Tim Curry's performance in general is so iconic as it would have been really hard for this guy to try to emulate that. I think coming out of it, no matter what, people would have shit on him, being like, oh, he wasn't as good as Tim Curry. So I think taking it in a new direction was the only real way to go. And he nailed it, so I think, end of the day, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, he did the right thing, but...
Tim Curry's Pennywise wasn't so graphic or, like, demonic. He was more creepy. Like, not creepy, but he was more, like, ridiculous. They didn't have the jump scares. Like, the skeleton that comes from the pond and all that shit was just so bad back then, right? But but just him playing the character was, like, fan-friggin-tastic. So, yeah, it's like if, speaking of clowns, Ledger and Leto, right? Like, if he just tried to do a Ledger, it's just like, go F yourself. But, he needed to make this clown. And that's why I'm happy they went with a different style for his costume. If they would have just gave him the silver suit with 3 pom-poms, you can't do anything with that. Because what's his name? Sorry. The original Pennywise. Tim Curry. Tim Curry, sorry, yes. He already wore that outfit and did it justice. Like, it's still a good movie. Some of it's ridiculous, but the original Stephen King movie, maybe it's just me because I have a soft place of it in my heart. It's still okay,
So I watched it the week coming up to me watching the movie, just to like refresh myself on it. Yeah. And I appreciated it a lot more now than I did when I was a kid. I didn't like it when I was a kid that much. and I like the kid half. The adult half, not that good.
No,
but
you're
but,
100% right on that. The kid half.
Yeah, there are
is
still
so
some
good.
fun moments.
Go on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to know what you thought. Like, what was your? There's two things I want to know. A, I want to know what is the scene that stuck out to you the most, aside from the 5-second one of him waving the baby arm.
Yeah.
And also, how effective do you think the jump scares were in this movie? Because they tried to jump scare you, I felt like, almost every other scene, and I felt like it ruined some of the tension they were building.
And like I said, about that, like him waving the hand of the baby,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a creepy character that it's almost like a cheap way out. They didn't need to do the jump scares, even though they were everywhere, and they worked brilliantly because they're jump scares. But yeah, you're right. Okay, so we just watched, guys. I just showed Cal here a deleted scene. I don't know how it got on the internet. It's something from like an entertainment,
it's like a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, an Entertainment Weekly thing or something. But the scene when Mike first sees Pennywise in the butcher shop, the scene's him on a hook in like the meat where the meat would hang. It's just him on a hook with his eyes glowing. The other shot they did was him on a hook but thrashing around while eating a kid. And it's still behind those those meat curtains that keep the cold in, but that would have been so much better. That's so scarier than the eyes, I think.
Yeah, I thought it would have more of an impact as the first like scare of the film. Yeah, as far as it goes, Mike got off pretty easy in the grand scheme of things. It was actually worse when the bullies tried to run him down.
Yeah, but. Yeah, you're right. I don't know how to feel about the jump scares. I thought it was cheap, but it was still good.
So, I'm not someone who has a problem with jump scares in movies as long as they're done well. A lot of times, loud noise, sudden image, it's going to make anyone jump. I just don't think there's a lot of skill to that a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I felt like, so none of it got me. I wasn't actually like very scared during this film for how entertained I was. I was loving the whole experience, and there was tension building. But I felt like they kept trying to pay off the tension too soon in every scene. Like almost every scene, there was some sort of boo, like some giant thing where Pennywise appeared, or he was holding her by the throat at the bathroom, or whatever. Right? Like it was pretty constant throughout, and I thought that just kind of ruined the mounting tension. Is if they went 2 or 3 different scenes without him actually popping out, he can still be there, or like you said, the scene with him with the baby arm, like a lot more unsettling, and just like getting your skin crawling feeling than all of a sudden him appearing on screen really fast.
Yeah, I don't know what happened when they were thinking of it, because they used to have different directors, right? And I heard some of the stuff the different director wanted. Like they wanted Stan to, instead of him seeing it when he went and did the Torah thing, he would be looking for a bathroom in the synagogue, and then there's like this place where Jewish women, after their period, they go bathe themselves. He had to go pee, so he was going to go pee in that, and then this girl came out and she was like dead, fingering herself or something. Like, I get why they got rid of the old directors. I get it.
So yeah, I think we talked about this on the last podcast you were on with me. And I said I was very curious about what Cary Fukunaga was going to do with it, who was going to be the previous director and screenwriter for the movie.
Yeah.
There's actually a 3-part YouTube series called Deconstructing Cary Fukunaga's It, because the scripts have now leaked online. I'll link them to you. They're only 15 minutes each. It's 3 parts. There's some, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of weird stuff in there that I'm not sure they could have made it work. Because I remember when Cary Fukunaga stopped doing the film, he said he was like hitting a wall with the producers and stuff about how the producers wanted a very traditional horror film, and that's not what he wanted to do. And I was like, ooh, like I'm all for non-traditional horror because I've seen so much normal Hollywood horror. And that's a lot more what it is.
For sure.
It's a lot of normal horror, but I always thought for it being this weird fucking cosmic being, I was like, yeah, no, going weird with it would be really cool. But some of the ideas he had are a little out there. So I'd be curious to see what you think after, if you want to watch these. But yeah, even though I think it is like a traditional Hollywood horror film, it's just so goddamn entertaining the entire way through. It was so hard for me to even sit there and try to like analyze a scene because I was just so like in the moment with these kids going through this adventure.
It was fantastic, from start to finish, like, even if I was still trying to be critical of Pennywise, I was still enjoying the movie, right? Like, I was looking a little bit too much in the movie, which that's why I want to go see it maybe a second, maybe even a third time, to be honest. But I really want to, so that I know what's coming up and I can kind of just really look into it and really just enjoy it and soak it in again. But the soundtrack to that movie is amazing.
I only remember a couple, like, little beats, like when the camera's first coming out of the sewer after the title card.
Yeah,
I kind of remember that one.
Like, even when
what sticks out to you?
Like when the kids are cleaning the bathroom.
Oh yes, okay, yes,
it's very cheesy.
Yeah.
It's very cheesy,
but it works.
It does.
I thought it worked so well. Yeah.
It worked really well. Like all the music they played was kind of like really fun 80s, but really well produced instead of shitty produced from the 80s. You know, like it was like someone made 80s music right now. That's what they were doing, right? And it was really good. It was really good.
I agree. Did you catch any of the turtle references?
Oh yeah, when there's the Lego turtle. I saw only the Lego turtle. I saw the turtle when they were swimming. And I don't remember if I don't remember any other one.
There was one more that Mike mentioned. I'm forgetting it now. But oh god, what's going on up there? Do you think that's hinting at the future? Do you think they're actually going to go full turtle on us?
They're not going to go full turtle.
Do you think that's just a little wink and a nod at like we know what's up, but like you're not getting it?
Yeah, like there's a part in a book I want to talk about, but I don't want to ruin it for you. So.
No, I already know everything that happens in the book. It's fine.
Do you? Okay, so
yeah.
in the book, Michael or Mike, I always say Michael for some reason. Mike and I think it's Eddie. They build, like, everyone builds this like teepee, and they do almost this like ritual so that they smoke themselves up so they can try to look into the future or look into how to kill Pennywise. And they were talking about in the second movie how they might be doing. Where Mike plays a big role, right? He's the one in the next movie. He's the one that calls them all, makes them remember. And the spoiler alert, they don't remember because they all left Derry except for Mike. So he remembers everything. Now, they're talking about how, because they probably won't do that TP scene, how he will be maybe looking, like having these like TP moments though, like him being on Peyote? Why can't I say that word? Peyote? Like it'll almost be like he's on a drug, but he looks like he's almost in a trance, and then maybe he'll go into like the background of Pennywise. You know, one of my favorite scenes in the book is a shootout, almost like in the Old West, almost. And that's one of the backstories of Pennywise. So if they do stuff like that, I'll be really happy.
I would like to get a little more explanation because I'm curious as to what like regular people thought he was, because it's not really explained. You know, he's just this like shape-shifting clown who's seemingly invincible and then gets beaten the fuck out of.
Yeah, it's weird, but I don't think they are going to go full turtle. I don't think they go full turtle because it's too much. It's too much.
Fuck, I really want them to. I want there to be like a scene, even if he's on peyote, where he sees like the entire galaxy and there's this fucking giant snapping turtle that starts talking to him. I would be totally down for that.
I think it would just be too weird for the audience and they just wouldn't accept it almost, right? Like
I'm 100% behind what you're saying. Yeah, I think producers would be very skeptical of this turtle scene.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it would be worth it for us.
Another scene I didn't like, I'm just telling you what I didn't like now, was who got scared by the headless thing? Was it Ben? It was Ben that got scared by the headless.
Yeah, the guy walking down the stairs.
Yeah, I didn't think that was too, like...
Oh, fuck, I love that one. I love the reveal of that with the way the shot was framed, and it was like, you didn't know that he didn't have a head until he hit that last step. And just the motion of him walking at him, like, it was very, like, stop motion, Silent Hill. I fucking loved that.
Yeah, nah. Like, it's, like, I get it. It is totally Silent Hill. I totally get that. It is, you're 100% right. It's Silent Hill to the max.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. Why didn't you enjoy it?
I don't know. It was just
too cheesy?
Yeah. It felt like Ghostbusters to me. You know, like and the guy's like...
They were also in a library.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah, right.
But how does
Where's Gozer?
how does Ben get scared in the book? Do you remember?
Fuck, is he the bird?
No, that's Mike.
No, is that Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Which one of them watches birds?
Oh wait, you're right.
Whoever has the
Stan.
bird watching
Stan.
book. Stan. Yeah, okay, Stan. I guess.
I totally forgot about the bird watching book. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put that one in there because it's so simple. It's a giant bird. How does Ben get scared? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Okay, we'll move on. But
They all kind of blend together. It's hard to keep track of.
yeah, I really like the dad sniffing the hair though. That was, dude,
Suitably creepy.
Oh my god, that was the creepiest. Dude, that dad really played a pedophile, creepy dad really well. Like it scared the shit out of me.
Yes, he was disturbing in every one of his appearances. You just didn't want it to like linger along with him too long. Also, did she murder her dad and then just get like moved to Detroit or wherever the fuck she was going?
I don't know. I was like, when I saw that part of her smashing him, I was like, yeah, you go, girl. But I was like, I think you murdered him. Like,
yeah,
pretty.
Because then Billy goes there later and is like, whoa, and then just runs away.
There's a lot of death where they're just like, oh, and then they're just like, like Bowers. They just push the Bowers. They kill the dad.
Well, okay, well, there's two things I want to talk about here.
Yeah.
First thing, all those kids floating in Pennywise's lair at the bottom. I thought that was a super cool visual of the kids floating. But when he goes down, and he leaves, did they go tell the police that hey, we found 120 missing bodies of kids over the last 150 years. You might want to take a look at it.
I think it's in the sense of the adults can't even see Pennywise, so they won't be able to see this because they don't believe.
They won't even see the bodies.
No, they won't even see the bodies or anything because they don't believe. Again, guys, this movie is pretty much a ripoff of Hook. You believe and you see it. It's just like with the scene in Hook when they're eating the dinner. He can't see it, then he believes, and anyways, sorry.
And then you get that Skittle dinner.
Yeah.
And then the other one thing I want to ask you was the bully character who they just straight up murdered down a well. In the miniseries, he definitely comes back and tries to murder them when they all come back to Derry as adults.
Yeah.
And Pennywise talks to him through the moon. That's clearly not going to happen in the future.
No, it's going to. I think it's going to.
Do you think he's still alive?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. It's gonna be a throwaway line where they're like, "Oh, he got injured so bad, he was in the hospital for months, but he said he did."
Oh, and maybe that's why he has a grudge against them even more because
they left him.
They left him, and he had a broken hip at the bottom of a well for 3 days or something.
Yeah, but you're right. Who would have found him then? No one would have found him. So, but you're right. He might not be in the sequel, and he's a big part of the sequel.
Kevin Bacon could play that kid. Grown up, he looked like a mini Kevin Bacon.
He 100% could. I really like there was a little nuance I liked where now his buddy who dies trying to flamethrower zombies.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so in the book, he molests Bowers pretty much.
Ooh.
And in the movie, when the kids are walking by the group, he licks his lips. And I thought that was so subtle and, not many people get this kind of because he is kind of, pedophilia. He in the book, he's super creepy. Everyone's scared of him because he's super creepy and weird and, molesty. And
yeah, well, I mean, the book in general is has a way more sexual nature and they tackle puberty and it's the hypochondriac kid.
Eddie.
Doesn't a leper Eddie. The leper offers him a blowjob underneath his house, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In the book, yeah, it's way more fucked up than just a guy chasing him in a yard.
I really liked Eddie's mom.
Oh yeah, she was great.
When I read the book, I was like, "There's Eddie's mom." Yep. Now that I saw it, it's that is a great Eddie's mom. In the original Tim Curry movie, she was just an older lady that was skinny and just looked like a bitch, right?
Yeah, just a control freak.
Yeah, where in this one it was a little more intense.
Yeah, you've kind of you've seen that mom before.
Yeah,
a
lot of reality TV show mom,
yeah, that's some Honey Boo Boo shit.
Yeah, there we go, Honey Boo Boo shit.
So is there anything else you would like to see going forward in the sequel that you would like them to be a little more faithful to?
No, I just want to see some backstory. You know, I think his backstory is so interesting that I think it would be worth, you know, just like maybe the black spot and maybe the black spot and the shootout. I love the shootout, but I'm thinking they're going to do like black spot. No, they'll probably do black spot and shootout maybe. I don't know if they would do any others.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, giving some backstory to the audience, I think, would be beneficial.
And also, I liked how the Paul Bunyan statue was in the movie. That's a nod to what happens later. There's a lot of like, but didn't you notice that there's a lot of molesty tones in it? Like
totally.
It really tried to be the book, right? Where the book was the same thing, kind of molesty tones, and they tried to do the best. What I think, like the hair sniffing was really disgusting and really creeped me out. But what really disgusted me was wearing the glasses and you look like Lois Lane.
Oh yeah, that guy immediately just went in for it with that girl.
Oh my god, I was scared. That was
he was super lecherous and creepy.
It was fantastic. Like it was just that actor was like right on, like spot on.
Yep. You're commending a lot of the actors who are playing the pedophiles.
Well, you know, it's hard to play a pedophile. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, if I tried, I couldn't do it. So you have to be a special breed for that one, dude.
Yeah, no, no, they all did a good job. So do you have any final thoughts about it?
Make the next one longer, just a little.
Oh, longer, really?
Yeah.
I thought this one could have been like a smidge shorter. Like I think it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. Just make it a flat 2 hours. I thought.
Really?
But you want more. You want
I
more.
Want more. Give it. I loved it. I really did. I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie to go see. Go see it in theaters, guys. There is a lot of pop scares, but there's so many good, just little scares too.
Yeah. I want to touch on the fact that I love the fucking projector screen. I didn't expect him to just pop out of the goddamn screen like that. I thought that was so fun. I thought it was just kind of going to be like for all my ranting about like, do less jump scares and just let the tension. Like, I loved the fact that he like, after you thought it was over, when the light turned off, like, it was just like, he just fucking came out and his hands were everywhere and his face was fucked up. Oh god, that was good.
Yeah, I think they did that shot really well. Like in the original, they're just looking through a photo album, but I like that this one, it was like projectors. You know, I almost the scenes that made me think of the original were, you know, that scene where it's the mom with her hair and she reveals that it's it. You know what I mean? Like in the projector scene,
yeah.
it's clipping, and you see it. It was kind of like the beginning of the Tim Curry one where he's kind of like in the sheets and it's revealing a little bit of him. I don't know why. I connected those two in my head. I was like, okay, I get that. And then he does come out of the photograph book and tries to get them, but this one was like he really tried to get out and get them, you know.
Yeah.
And you kept saying salting the meat, so I like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he wanted to salt the meat, right? That's what it was. Although with the bully in the sewers, he didn't salt that meat at all. He just immediately murdered that kid.
Well, when you're hungry, right? He's teasing these ones. He's teasing these ones, making them, you know, the lobster surf and turf of, you know, his piece de resistance. Everyone else can just be a Subway sub for right now, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it as any.
Thank you, Cal, for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.
No, of course. And if you want to find Geekseh, he is on Twitch streaming. Probably as I put this podcast up, you can go find him at twitch.tv /Geekseh, GEEKSEH.
You got it.
Is that correct?
You got it. Perfect.
And you can follow him on Twitter. Same thing, at Geekseh, with an extra H at the end.
You got it. Thank you so much, Cal. Thank you.
Not a problem, man. Always fun having you on here. We'll have you back soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Keep floating, everybody.